Good morning. This is Johnny Sunshine, Sarasota, Florida. I hear we made the national news with the amount of rain that we caught from Debbie. She packed a real punch. Sarasota, there are some low-lying areas in Sarasota that are in real trouble. A guy who used to work for me actually owns his own business. His neighborhood is underwater, man. Luckily, his house is a newer house in that area, and the living level is pretty high, but the water came up, possibly got into his garage, but didn't make it into the living area. And his driveway's on a good slope, so I don't believe that his work truck, he's a plumber, owns his own business, and he only has one truck. I don't believe his truck got damaged. It's a beautiful newer truck, and he keeps it immaculate. But a lot of the neighbors a lot of his neighbors are underwater. They've got lots of water in their houses. He hasn't been able to get his vehicles out for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. He put some pictures up on Facebook, and the water literally as high as the mailbox on his street, which is, I think, the code, the minimum height for a mailbox is 30 inches to the bottom of it. That's pretty high, man. That's a lot of water, and it's nasty. So I just want to talk. We've been getting a lot of calls down here from people about their houses being backed up. And, you know, Mikey Pipes is always saying you got to be aware of all these things, and he's absolutely correct. I'm always looking around the neighborhood. When I come into an area, I'm looking for what's going on here. Are they on vacuum assist sewer? Are they on septic tanks? Are they on central sewer and water? Are they on wells? And that all is, you know, there's a lot of variables, and a lot of you need to be thinking about all of that. So I got a call the other day from a church. I did a little video on it, but I want to elaborate a little bit more. And by no means am I a septic tank, you know, engineer, guy who designs septic systems. But I can tell you, I went there, they were complaining that there was water all over the bathrooms in the church. And I got there, and a toilet running, depending on the age of the drain field, a toilet running itself, just that. You know, you got a bad flapper and the toilet's running all the time, and it's amazing. Sometimes I go into people's houses and the toilet's just fucking like running full blast, and they live with it for months. But just one toilet running like that can actually saturate a drain field. So I went in there, and the first thing I did was look at the toilet, you know, and there were actually 5 or 6 toilets in this church. I think 2 in the men's room and 3 in the ladies' room, just because there's always more toilets in women's bathrooms, public. So anyways, I go in there, and sure enough, there's water on the floor. It's clean water. And my first question to him was, are you on a septic tank? And he said, yeah, it's around the back on the outside. So, not that I've ever seen one on the inside of a house, but anyways, I look in the toilet where the water's showing up, and it's just streaming from the tank down into the bowl, and it's probably been that way for months, who knows how long. But when you add 12 inches of rain to a 25 or 30-year-old septic system and drain field, that's really probably been pushed to the max. When they have 3 services a week, and I think you could probably seat 200 people in that church, and it's most likely full. That septic system in drain field was already being challenged. You know what I mean? It was struggling most likely to keep up. And when you add this rain to it, and the groundwater is so high now in Sarasota that it's just saturated. But one of the things that happens, so actually when I asked him if it was on a septic, he said, yeah, I went out there and I opened the clean out into the septic tank, and sure enough, the pipe was full. Now, septic tanks are always full. Somebody commented on my channel about, you know, a septic tank is always full. Well, no shit, bud. You know, you can pump it out, and 3-4 days later, the tank's full, depending on what size the tank is. You know, if it's only a 750-gallon tank, it's going to fill up pretty quick at a house, residential house. So one of the issues with these older septic systems is this thing called a biomass or biomat. And what happens is, I'm sure everybody has seen a puddle on the side of the road that just stays there. It doesn't dry up. And if you went and actually looked at that, you'd realize that it was a very slimy mat under the water, and it's not permitting the water to go down into the ground. It's called a biomass or biomat, and a lot of these septic systems have a biomat or biomass. They should, because it's an integral part of it. But when it gets too bad, or the bacteria dies for whatever reason, somebody put some shit in the tank and killed the biomass, then it dies and it won't let water through it. And that's what's happening here in Sarasota. Lots and lots of calls from people with septic systems that are not functioning. Typically, I did a lot of houses that come with septic systems, and when you do that, you have to there's a special inspection for that. They come out and they shoot the invert coming out of the house, because you'll get an engineering sheet for the house. It'll tell you what the invert, meaning a lot of guys don't know what the definition of invert is, and I was told by the engineer it's not the bottom of the pipe on the outside. The invert is the flow line. It's the inside of the pipe. So they'll give you an invert where it's coming out of the house, say 18 inches, and then if there's 10 feet, you know, there's going to be an eighth. They're going to figure 1/8 of an inch of fall for 10 feet, or 8 feet, an inch. The invert going into the tank will be 1 inch or 1.25 inches lower than the invert at the house. They usually, septic tanks are usually within 5 to 10 feet of the outside of the house. But now the discharge invert of the septic tank is going to be 3 to 4 inches lower than the inlet invert, and that's so that pipe comes in and it's dumping into this pool of nasty septic tank water, and then as a cup comes in, a cup of water, a cup goes out, or a gallon comes in, a gallon goes out. The problem is when the drain field is saturated, that water has nowhere to go, and a gallon in and nothing going out is a problem, and that's how you end up with a stoppage. It's not a stoppage, it's a backup. The water is backed up. The septic system has ceased to work properly, and it's just a matter of time. There's nothing you can do. You can go out there and pump that tank, but most likely by the end of the day, that thing's going to be full again just from groundwater. So it's really a fruitless effort, an exercise in futility, if you will. And that's a big deal down here, man. It's happening, and I would suggest to this guy at this church, because he has so many parishioners and it looks like it's doing pretty well. I would tell him, because it's at least 25 or 30 years old with the original septic system, drain field, I would have him, you know, at least get a price to get an elevated drain field in that church. That would be a pump that pumps the effluent from the tank up into a drain field. There's actually two tanks. You'd have a septic tank, an effluent tank with a pump that pumps it up into the drain field. And that would be a good option for them. Cost for that is anywhere, depending on the size, anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. I mean, you know, a church is a big 250 parishioners there, or 200. That's a lot more people than a 3-bedroom house, and that's what they use in their calculations when they figure out a drain field. It all works off of even the elevation of the house. The engineering starts at the mean groundwater level. Like, they come up with an average of the groundwater level in that area, and then they work from that, and they say, all right, we need 2-3 feet of drain field, and then we need to go up from that to the septic tank, and then go up to the living level in the house. And that really dictates the finished floor level in the houses. So there's going to be the septic system, septic tank guys in this area, the pumper trucks. I was told this morning by somebody, if you call them, they say, listen, we're not coming out. You don't need to get your septic tank pumped. It's because it's saturated, which is nice of them to actually do that, because, like I said, it's an effort in futility. So that's about all I have to say about septic systems. The easy way to see if your drain field's saturated is go out in the middle of the drain field and dig a hole 12 inches deep, and it's going to be tough. It's all rock, you know. So you could dig down, use a pick or whatever, and if that fills in with water immediately, the drain field's saturated. Now, there are times when, like I said, the drain field has ceased. It doesn't even take a lot of rain. It's just under normal use. The drain field is not working. It needs to be replaced. And the only way, one of the reasons why a drain field will fail, a couple of reasons. One is that you get carryover. Because you're not cleaning your septic tank, you know, every 3 to 5 years, getting it pumped. You'll get carryover, which is, you know, more than just effluent. It's waste, you know, like corn and all this shit's flowing out into the drain field, and typically will clog up the beginning of the drain field, and the water actually never gets to the far end. It's always a good sign when you know a house is on a septic system and the whole drain field has green grass growing over it. That means that the water is actually getting out to the furthest points of that septic system and drain field, and it's working properly. The other thing that happens is the bacteria in septic tanks, you know, they need oxygen to survive. So that space in the top of the septic tank between the discharge pipe and the discharge inlet and the inlet invert is what I'm trying to say. Discharge invert, inlet invert. You're going to have 7-8 inches of airspace on the top of that septic tank, and if the plumbing system is clean and working properly, that air is going to flow right through that whole plumbing system and out through the vents. And what that's doing is obviously expelling the gas to a safe location above the house, and also providing oxygen to that bacteria that's living in that septic tank. So septic tanks are a great way, you know, to handle your waste. I live in a house that has a septic tank. My living level's pretty high. The first day of this storm, after it had passed, my septic system, I could hear it just out of the blue. Out of the blue, I'm sitting here in my office, and it was in my video that I posted. The toilet starts gurgling, and that's because as the water on the surface was going through the top layer of soil, the groundwater level is coming up. And what happened is now that groundwater is moving into that septic tank and then up through my system and actually pushing the air out, because it actually went, came in so far that it pushed the air, you know, out of my toilet that was in the system. That's what that bubbling is. The vent is blocked off, and there's air trapped between the water and the toilet, the water in the trap. And as that water comes in and it's pushing and pushing and pushing, that air has to go somewhere, and it bubbles up through your toilet. So there's a lot to it. You know, an experienced plumber, some guys would be, you know, could go out and spin their wheels for a couple hours, not realizing what's going on. But like Mikey Pipe says, you got to be aware, you got to be looking around, and he's absolutely right. Experience counts, for sure. And, you know, there's nothing you can do about it, man. Life's tough sometimes, you know. We live in a world where we're so comfortable that any little problem, we just spin out of fucking control. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? So the other day at that church, I didn't have the American Standard. It's got one of them dual flapper toilets. I don't know the name of it. I mean, I looked it all up, but I don't hang on to information like that. My brain's full enough. I sent the guy a text I forwarded the parts that were on Amazon. You could get, like, I think 4 of them, 4 of those flappers for that toilet for like $10 or $12. And I told him, you know, get like 2 or 3 packages, at least 3 packages, because of the amount of toilets that he has. And then I ran over there the other day, the next day, and I just looked in the clean out, and the water was still the same height. And as I drove out of the neighborhood, the water level in the ditches was at the same height. So unfortunately, this area is saturated. We already we've gotten a lot of rain in the last few months, so pond levels were already up. And when you add 12 inches of rain in a day, that's going to be a real problem. And unfortunately today, I guess is you know, for the people up north, up the eastern seaboard, they're catching this storm now, and it packs a pretty good punch. There'll probably be some flooding up there, depending on. I haven't really been paying attention to it. What I'm more concerned with for my own life is what's coming off the coast of Africa, and another storm is brewing out there that they're saying by tomorrow will probably be a named storm. And you got to just cross your fingers, man, and hope that, you know, they're devastating, man. There's just no doubt about it, man. If you don't have your if you live in the area where is affected by hurricanes, and you're not prepared for that shit, it can be a real fucking disaster. Like me on Sunday night, you know, I ate a can of fucking beans because I didn't have any food in my refrigerator. But it was good, the beans, I liked them. Yeah, I was farting too a lot, man. Just a lot. The dogs were like, come on, man, we're trying to sleep over here. Anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're out there, you live in Sarasota area or any area that's been affected, you know, this is what you can expect, man. But what really stuns me is that some people don't even realize they have a septic tank. When you go to their house, they're like, well, I don't know where, so, you know, the next question is always, when was the last time you got that pumped? And if they don't even know they fucking have one, that's probably not a good, you know, they're not going to know when they pumped it because they haven't. I've been to houses, unfortunately, in my family that they hadn't pumped their septic tank for 25 fucking years, man. Popped the lid on that and it was fucking 7 feet deep of solid shit. Yeah. Nasty. You're like, oh, fuck, there's that quarter I lost 22 fucking years ago. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've had a lot of fun posting the last few days, few weeks. Man, I've had a lot of shit going on here. I actually called my tree guy, Dean's Tree Service. He was going to come out this week. He said Monday or Tuesday to grind this stump in my yard. And I called him and I thanked him for his... I was talking to his wife. She's a very, very sweet lady and smart. And a big part of that business. She's his business partner. And they work well together. But I talked to her and I told her, I said, listen, you know, if it takes you a couple weeks to get back here to grind this stump, I really don't care. Even though I paid for it. You know, I understand that there are people out there with trees on their fucking houses. And I'm sure this guy's working overtime to get that straight. So I just let him know, don't sweat it. Put me on the back burner. And get here when you think it's... you know, you're in a position to do that without affecting somebody else who really needs you. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. If you know, one of the things you can do for your septic system is every once in a while throw in some organisms like Bio-1. That shit breeds bacteria. It's bacteria basically in a bottle. And just follow the directions. There are a bunch of them out there. I think Ridex or, you know, I'm not sure the names of them, to be honest with you. I don't hang on to information like that. I got some of it goes in one ear and out the other because I can always find it when I need it. That's what we call random access memory. I hang on to what I need, and you know, it's like I don't walk around with every code number or ordinance number in my mind. Oh fucking A. Pennsylvania. Phillips Plumbing, this is John speaking.
Hello, this is the Business Outreach Group. We've been urgently trying to reach you about your Google business listing.
No, my Google business listing? Really? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Sorry, Google. Yeah, I'm sorry. I used to get so many calls from them every fucking day. So I started calling them back and telling them, hey, I got a special on toilets today. I heard you guys were full of shit and you need some toilets. And then they stopped. You can't even redial the fucking things, man. But I used to harass them the way they harassed me. You know, you're out there working. Now with the cell phones, you're getting phone calls from people, you know, 25 years ago, it was always in your area code, you know. Now they're from all over the fucking country, so you have to answer them. It's kind of a pain. I can't even imagine the man hours that are wasted on a daily basis picking up fucking robocalls, man. It is just, even if you put your name and your number on the list, they just keep calling, man. They don't care, man. They're just terrible, man. Anyways, guys, I gotta go clean my truck out. It's a mess. And one of my projects when it gets cooler out that I'm thinking about is I'm going to be cleaning up. I'll get some footage of me cleaning my truck today. I'm going to remodel it a little bit. I got an idea on where I'm going to put all my battery operated fucking shit show tools that every time I use one I'm like, battery, please don't die. Please don't die. I'm sweating. My fucking sweat in my eyes. I'm like, just don't die. Let me get this last fucking screw in, and then blip. It stops. I gotta run out. Well, it's better than having to run a fucking cord. Yeah, to the fucking receptacle. That's 2 inches from my fucking head. Christ, I'm not working out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I got one thing to say. If Milwaukee would just put a power cord on all this shit they're making, God, that would be so nice. I mean, they're really nice tools, man, but they run on batteries. Fuck that. Just get yourself a fucking extension cord. I mean, honestly, guys, I work in houses that, you know, people live in. There's power in them, you know? Anyways, I'll try to get some footage, but one of the things I'm going to do when it gets cool out is I'm going to convert my garage, because I have an additional storage shed in the back, 2 of them actually, a 12 by 24 workshop, wood shop, and then I've got a 10 or 12 by 27 foot storage attached to my house storage shed. And I'm going to clean all the shit I don't use for business out of my garage, put it out there on that other shed, and I'm going to make myself a badass home shop, plumbing shop. I'm going to paint the floor. I'm going to get some nice shelves. I'm going to get it set up so I can keep all my supplies. And I'll tell you, man, I'm to the point where when it comes to buying supplies, man, the difference between buying them from Amazon and getting them from your supply house is just fucking astronomical. Even the difference between Home Depot and Amazon is it's like half the fucking price, man. Washer boxes with hammer arresters, $30. You know? That's cheap, man. Ice maker boxes with hammer arrestor, fucking $20. You do that, buy that shit at Home Depot, it's $50, you know? So it's time to, I think supply houses, I don't know where they're gonna go, but they're losing the guys who used to walk in there every day, especially in Florida. From what I understand, Mikey Pipes came down here, in one of his videos, he was like, I can't believe how bad they're fucking these people, man, on the prices. And it's been open season on plumbers for a long time down here. These guys, yeah. They got their Bible in one hand and the other one's fucking going through your fucking wallet. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it says it right there, you know. I am my brother's keeper. Yeah. Anyways, guys, have a great day. I hope you enjoy this video. I've been having issues with my GoPro camera. I dropped it a few times. I may end up buying a GoPro 12 because it has some new enhancements. They've dealt with a little bit of the heating up problem and all of that shit, but the problem I've been having is my videos have been coming through in all different fucking wackadoodle-doo orders. You know, it's supposed to be the first video is the first, down at the bottom is the first video that I made that day, and then they come in, you know, succession, you know, and it's easy to upload. But no, they've been coming. The other day I had 74 videos I had to go through and try to put them in some order that makes sense, you know? And at some point I'm like, you know what? This is just beyond anything I can, you know, so I just fucking throw it all up there and I hope you enjoy it. Anyways, guys, have a great day. It's Thursday. I'm hoping the lawn guy shows up. I know he's got to be buried because of the rain. He's probably lost 3, 4, 5 days in the last couple of weeks. So he's probably got people calling him. It's a fucking shit show down here, man, in the summertime. God, I watch these videos and I look at weather reports like up in Rhode Island. Yeah, it's 80 degrees and 60% humidity. And I'm like, why the fuck am I here? Why? Why am I putting myself through this? You know? It's not bad if you're a fucking bug. But I'm not. I may bug some of you, but hey, as a matter of fact, I have to say a little bit about politics, guys. Trumpy's going down, Jackson. Trump is going the fuck down. You see them rallies? Just wait. This shit's heating up, man. August, September, October. 3 months. Trump's gonna be fucking... I'm telling you, it's usually the independent vote that will carry an election. In this one, it's going to be Republicans voting for Kamala Harris because they're just sick of this fucking guy. They're coming out strong. Leaders, mayors, governors, fucking... They're over him, man. He needs to go away. They're recognizing that this guy is a fucking unmitigated disaster. A fucking total narcissist. And I'm having some signs made up, guys. I got a sign company down the street from me, and this sign that I'm going to make up is going to be Kamala Harris and this her VP pick and their spouses. Beautiful picture. And I'm going to say this, and then another sign that says or, and then a picture of Trump at the top with everybody that he brought into his administration that has been convicted of a crime and is currently doing time. Yeah, it's going to be this or that. You decide. He's a scumbag, and he's done. Thank God. Thank God. He was spared by that bullet in his head, because that would have just unleashed a, Trump as a martyr. Give me a break. But now he's going to lose, not because he got killed. He's going to lose because the American people stood up and said, we don't want your politics, man. We don't want your vision of America. A bunch of old white people with pitchforks. You can have it, man. Mind your fucking business. Worry about your own shit. And stop fucking trying to make people live the way you want to fucking live. Kamala Harris's rallies are over the fucking top, man. It feels like when Obama ran. There's excitement in the air. And this is Donald Trump's, rallies. Everybody's sitting there listening.